Tina Tilton inside of the Taylor Tilton Hour. You're watching The Blend, where legends live. And on today's show, I have tickets to give away to the River City Jazz and Music Festival Saturday, September 2nd at the Cannon Center. And I know you want to win those tickets, right? Well, you must register on my VIP list at www.tinatilton.com. This Jazz and Music Festival features Eric Benet, After Seven, Gerald Albright, Julian Vaughn, Joe Johnson, and my very special guest today. Oh man, y'all. Ladies, I hope you tuned in. None other than Grammy Award nominated singer-songwriter Kenny Lattimore. Come on in here, Kenny. Where are you, man?
Hey, thank you for having me. This is great.
Hey, thank you. You know what? Let me ask you a first question. Have you ever been to Memphis? Have you been here before?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I don't think I've ever done my long set show there. Okay. Or maybe I have, but it's been a really, really long time. Like when they used to have Isaac Hayes's, goodness. It was
his restaurant. He had a restaurant here.
He had a restaurant many years ago.
Yeah, he did.
And I've done that. I did that at least once.
Okay.
And a lot of times I get to come in and do appearances and things in Memphis, but I'm looking forward to this one coming.
You like our barbecue.
Yeah, I love it. So I definitely, you see me stopping by a lot of times on a personal note, but in terms of the shows and everything, I'm very excited to be a part of the show coming up. You know what? This is live.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. Hey, this is live. So
because this is live, I'm listening to my phone in the background. Like nobody's been calling me. I am visiting my father at his beautiful home.
Is it in DC, where you're from? Because I understand
no. Actually, he's out in Arizona.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. This is like a hotel resort here.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm going to come and visit and hang out and everything. So things have been really quiet until right now my phone rings. Okay. But anyway, so that's
okay.
gone. The answer
the
she picked up.
But DC, you are from DC and you have a church background, huh?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. I came to know some things about the Bible for the first time when I was about 14. And when I heard the gospel preached, like the plain gospel, not just the hoop, not just the rev up and yes, and all that. I used to go to church and experience that, which is wonderful still, but I didn't always understand. I didn't always hear.
Okay.
Somebody sat down and taught me and my mom the word. It was a lady named Pastor Shirley Nicholson.
Okay.
Back in 80 something. I don't remember what the year it was, but whatever the case, we looked at each other like, oh my gosh, this is what this means in the Bible. And we were totally blown away. And from there, I made my own decision, to really seek the Lord and seek the word.
Yeah.
So that was totally life-changing on a lot of different levels because it affected everything from what I sang.
Yeah.
I understood more about myself.
Because the Bible will do that, and I'm a firm believer in it as well. Yeah. So
because I can take you back even further. The first time I ever
heard. I'm only 2 years old now. No, 20.
So, yeah. Well, no, we're going back to when we were little children.
Okay.
As a little child, I remember somebody saying, "Accept Jesus Christ in your heart as your Lord and Savior." Da 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 da. And I did do that. This is what's powerful about the word is even though it wasn't until 6 to 7 years later that I actually heard the gospel preached in a way that I totally understood it. The word does not return void. And when I said that I wanted Jesus to come to my heart and I understood that he died for me, there were things about my life that changed even at 8 years old that I couldn't explain. There were things I couldn't do. There were things there was a vision that I had and I was drawn to the word and just didn't understand.
Sure.
But again, at 14, 15, somewhere around there, when I heard it taught, life-changing, and it set the standard for my life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I understand too that you had some amazing icons as well, though. You had Shaka Khan as your icon, Donny Hathaway, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Did they play like? I can even hear all of them in the music.
It's
Uh,
interesting because I grew up with in a very musical household, and my mom played a lot of R&B. She played a lot of different styles of music, but of course, I gravitate to R&B, being young and coming up. And she worked at a school, Lincoln University, which is in Oxford, Pennsylvania. So out of Howard, because she went to Howard University, her first job that I remember is her being at Lincoln University. And when she got to Lincoln, we were great friends with the head of all of the activities, and they would bring these concerts to the school. So as a kid, I'm meeting Shaka at 8. I'm meeting, huge singers, Lionel Richie and different folks as a kid. And it totally made me want to be a part of the industry before I even knew what that was.
of course.
It became something that was natural and tangible for me. So I loved it. But Shaka was definitely one of my favorites because she was one of the first that I met.
Well, did you say your mom worked at Howard University?
She worked at Howard University as well. She graduated from Howard.
And
Her
so
first
did you,
job. Right? I attended Howard, but I got a record deal in my first year at Howard and was out of there. I spent 2 years. I didn't immediately leave. What was so cool about the HBCUs is the staff and the deans knew that I had done this album and that I was hitting the road and all of that. So they shifted some things for me and allowed me to go to classes in fine arts. And I still studied for a while, but I was an architecture and planning major. So then they took me over to fine arts and they allowed me to study there for another year where I did my music theory and piano and voice and all of that to prepare me for being on the road, because the type of singing that we do is pretty unrealistic for the voice. It's way more than the average person does. So the preparation to sustain your instrument is pretty tremendous.
Okay. And this group that you're talking about, or the reason why you left Howard University, because what's the name of the group? Mannequin or is it Mannequin?
Mannequin. Yeah.
Mannequin. Okay, it's Mannequin.
And we recorded with Ronnie and Charlie Wilson of the Gap Band. Everybody
but
talks
it was
about
a response and an answer to somebody else's popular song, right?
Yeah. Yep. An answer to Pebbles' Mercedes Boy. Now, that was an interesting time because there were answers to songs quite a bit, but
it was.
The problem that we have is that the whole entertainment record industry is a very interesting animal. For whatever reason, we do this amazing song that's a playoff of another hit, but our label does not put the song out for a year. So it ended up, I think, translating as if we had taken from that idea as opposed to complemented her idea. And it did not become a big commercial success for us, but it was the beginnings of my understanding of the recording industry, and I'm forever grateful.
So you moved to New York City. You signed to Columbia in 95, released a self-titled album in 96, and it went gold because it had 2 top 20 hits on it. And Never Too Busy and For You. I gotta say, let me say this, I'm gonna say big kudos to whoever your marketing people were for Never Too Busy. I'll tell you what.
Thank you.
So my aunt and I, we attended the Essence Music Festival. And I'm finna say, never too busy. Never too busy. And every break we saw you with Never Too Busy.
This is so funny that you mentioned this because when I try to tell this story without you, I think people kind of look at me like, yeah, right. Well, the Jumbotron, this is so early, you guys. The Jumbotron at the Superdome was not something that initially was given to companies to use. So this was one of the first times that they had allowed us during Essence to use the Jumbotron. So we submitted. So it was only me and like maybe 1 or 2 other acts or something. Or maybe it was just me and another company. So all they had to play on the jumbotron over and
over and over. I promise
They're
you.
never too busy.
I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, okay. We get
Right?
it.
It's like, okay, already, we got it.
Because
They
again,
just-
that was
they
96.
just didn't
So
have
here we are in
anything else to
2022,
play
and I
on
still remember that. Being a young person there, just never. I was like, I can't wait to interview him. I'm going to tell him that and
man.
remind him of that.
So I would say it was the brilliance of Columbia Records, but it was really the combination of their brilliance and the fact that Essence just didn't have anything else to play.
I see why now. I do understand. Amazing. So if you have any comments or questions for Mr. Kenny Lattimore, feel free to hit us up in the comment section and we'll pop it up on the screen if it's decent. So make sure that it's clean and decent.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 2008. In 2008, you released Timeless on Verve Records.
Yeah.
But in 2012, you launched your very own label, Sincere Soul Records. And so from that, you've released quite a few. Anatomy of a Love Song, Kenny Lattimore's Christmas, Vulnerable. Tell us about the most recent project, Here to Stay.
Here to Stay is, it's interesting. I started Sincere Soul Records mainly as a way to control the intellectual properties that I made. It wasn't the traditional, I want to have a label and have a bunch of artists on it, and discover new talent. Although mentoring is at the center of my heart, it always has been. But from the record label side, I see the good and the bad and the ugly. And I knew that I didn't necessarily have a passion for being a traditional label. But one of my guys that I mentor came to me, Jakar Madison Wesley. And Jakar, it was, Madison, rather. I'd rather you guys know him as Madison because he's a phenomenal artist, and that's the name that he used, and he's going to be out very soon.
Okay.
Well, Madison was responsible for producing my last 3 top 10 hits. So on Anatomy of a Love Song, it was Love Me Back. He wrote on the Christmas project. He did a song called Be Here on the Boney James project. He also did a song called Stay on Your Mind on my Vulnerable project. It was just, he was doing just great work with me. Respecting my legacy, but understanding that there is a new adult, and the sounds and what's marketed to new adults is what he wanted. He was like, you can sing and you can do this. You can still appeal to the young adult as well. So what he did was he called me one day and he said he wanted some exposure with some things he was doing, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go out and I'll try to do some new distribution and get another opportunity going. When I went into the company, they said, can you do a Kenny album? I said, yeah, as long as we can do Madison.
Yeah.
And he graciously was like, I'll produce the Kenny album. And I said, perfect. I'll let everybody know, just like I'm doing right now, who Madison is.
Yeah, Madison hooked you up.
And then we'll come back and we'll get your album out there. But what was great was, again, he challenged me a bit. I became a student of sorts because the sound and the cadence and all of that. I mean, we start this album out in a sort of a traditional R&B way, but it gets more and more contemporary as you listen and go in. And I think that contemporary sound is what has been very attractive to those that are on Spotify and a lot of the younger streaming formats. And so it's been amazing to see a lot of new fans, who are like, oh, we kind of remember him, or we grew up on him, but I might not have been on their playlist.
You got to say it like they say it. My mama listened to him.
Yeah, my mama, my grandmama listening. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, Lose You. And I'm loving this, and I'm loving the pressure and all. And I'm just wow, this is great.
Yeah,
so
I
can't wait to do the stuff live, because that's when I really get to see all of these different age groups come together, and it challenges me to deliver to everyone, and it makes for a great evening.
Again, Kenny, thank you so much for being a guest on The Blend. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you very soon.
Look forward to seeing you as well.
All right. Have a great day.
Listen.
Thank you for watching. You're watching The Blend, and this is where legends live. And on today's show, I keep telling you that I have tickets to give away to the River City Jazz and Music Festival. You should know by now that it's taking place Saturday, April 2nd at the Cannon Center, and that I do have tickets for you to win. But you must register on my website at www.tinatilton.com. This Jazz and Music Festival features Eric Benet, After 7, Kenny Lattimore, of whom I had the opportunity to interview earlier and speak with, Julian Vaughn, Joe Johnson, and my special guest right about now is the man that my mom loves musically and also my brother-in-law respects in the jazz arena. He's none other than Grammy-nominated saxophonist and bassist Gerald Albright. Welcome to the blend, Mr. Albright.
Thank you, Tina. How you doing?
I am great. I'm great. So great. No, hold on. Let me rephrase that. What's up, my friend, brother?
Oh, six.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and 08 right here.
All right.
I got my yellow on to represent. So I was like, oh, Gerald is an alpha? Okay,
yeah.
We're doing it. We are doing it. This is great. Well, okay, let's talk about you being born and raised in LA. Are we talking Compton, or what part of LA are we?
Well, close to Compton. I was born and raised in South Central LA, most people know it as Watts, California. And with a beautiful, close-knit family, the Albright family. It was the four of us, mom, dad, and my older brother Bill, and myself. And so that's where I come from. Those are my roots.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you are a saxophonist. You play bass, guitar as well.
Yes.
But you started out in piano. And you had a piano teacher, but you did not like piano. Am I correct?
Well, I love piano now because I write songs based on chords and using the piano these days. But starting out as an 8-year-old, I absolutely I detested piano. We had an old upright piano in our den at home, and parents customarily want their kids to at least take piano lessons for a while. So the choir director at our church moonlighted as a music teacher during the week. And he had several students that he taught, and I was one of those students. And he initially taught me piano, and I didn't like it. I never was prepared for my lesson this week. And so after about 3 or 4 weeks of not being prepared, he talked to my parents and said, "Hey, we need to take him off your money." Yeah, we need to take him off that piano and put him on something that hopefully he'll be more interested in. He happened to have an old saxophone in his garage that he used to play years prior. Okay. And so he brought that unannounced to the next lesson, and he said, "Gerald, we're going to do something different today." And all of a sudden he opens his case and there's this silver King alto, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is different." Wow. And he put it together and he gave me a fresh reed. He said, "Lick this reed, make it nice and moist." And so I did, and then we put everything together, and then he showed me how to make my first squeak, and I've been squeaking ever since. So,
and this was 8 years old?
Well, it was about 9 at that point.
You were 9.
Yeah, I was about 9 years old. Yeah.
Isn't that something? Well, of course, we know you as an accomplished saxophonist, yes. But you switched to bass after you saw Louis Johnson in concert.
Yes, during my college years, there was a real famous festival called the Orange Show, which was in San Bernardino, California. And that was right down the street from where I went to school at the University of Redlands. And I happened to go to the festival on the night that the Brothers Johnson were headlining the show. And Louis Johnson stepped out and played this bass solo that made my mouth drop. And I said, I want to do that. Yeah. And so the next day I called my friend John Jorgensen. I asked him if he had a spare bass guitar that I could just use to kind of play with. And he gave me an old Hofner bass, a hollow body bass that the Beatles used back in the day. It's a real historical bass. And I sat in my dorm room and kind of taught myself how to at least get the fundamentals down. And then as time progressed, I started playing in little bands to get extra money for food and to buy books at school and the whole thing. Yeah. And then after that, it became an integral part of my portfolio. So I love the bass. I still record all of my records on bass, and I also play bass for other people too, both in the studio and live.
Well, you played for the President of the United States of America.
Yes.
And this was not Barack either.
I wish it was Barack.
However, It was Bill Clinton.
Yes.
How did you land that gig?
Well, it was a phone call from Quincy Jones and Tom Scott. They put together an all-star saxophone section that played in front of the Lincoln Center during the first inauguration celebration. And if I can list some of those names, it was Kirk Whalum, it was Kenny G, it was Jerry Mulligan, it was
some greats.
Who else? Grover Washington Jr. was on that.
Oh, wow.
There was like, I can't remember them all, but there was at least 10 saxophone players lined up side by side in like 35-degree weather, trying to play a saxophone. And but it was an honor, and just to see the president and the first lady, like literally 20, 30 feet from us, really appreciating what we were doing. It was an honor to do.
Is that challenging to play in 30-degree?
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the horn even feels different. I mean, your fingers get stiff because of the cold weather, but even the horn feels, I mean, it's, for one thing, you can easily play out of tune when the weather's that cold. So you have to be cognizant of, okay, I got to make sure that I'm in tune with the other guys who I'm playing with. So there's more, if I can say, maintenance when it comes to cold weather or extremely hot weather. It definitely affects the body, and it also affects the musical instrument.
Well, it was a whole lot of you guys, so all you had to do was blame it on the next person. He did it.
Yeah, it was just like, it was Grover's fault.
Yeah, just like somebody else. You'll be fine.
Right. Exactly.
Well, you know what? You also had a couple of acting gigs under your belt as well. You acted in A Different World.
Yes.
You were in Melrose Place.
Yes.
And I'm just like, well, did you play the saxophone with your Alpha shirt on? Like, how did that? Tell me about that too.
Well, I did play my saxophone, but I didn't have the Alpha shirt on. I kind of went with the wardrobe that the director wanted me to wear, but it was great. Yeah, it was a great experience to be in TV. That's a whole nother world. TV is just like a 180 from what I normally do, the whole live spontaneous thing. TV is like, okay, we're going to do this scene 20 times over. So you may play the same song 15, 20 times and that whole thing. But
so PlayStation. You have a song on the PlayStation. Now, yeah. I don't own one. I think my husband got something around here somewhere knowing him. But what game or what is that on?
Oh my goodness. You're taking me back to the 90s.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the name of that game, but
okay, I'll remind you. It's Castlevania, exactly. Yeah, Symphony of the Night.
Yes, and that was a very popular game, and a lot of people over the years have approached me about the game. Again, with music, you never know what you're going to wind up doing. It's not all about just live gigs or doing a recording session. You may be in commercials. I did a Wendy's commercial. I mean, with some of the breakfast products back in the day. So you live by the telephone, and whoever's on the other side of the phone, that may very well be a work call for you. That could be
with some money.
Yeah.
You got some money? Okay,
yeah, exactly. Gotta pay rent. Let's do this.
Gotta pay rent. Yes, that's right. Okay. Well, I got a quote. I saw this and I found this to be very intriguing. By the way, the viewers that are watching, if you have any questions or comments for Gerald Albright, please hit us up in the comment section, and we'll be more than happy to show that for Mr. Albright. But a quote from your bio, and this is your quote. It says, top to bottom, Albright says, whether in concert, listening to my music over the radio or CD player, I always want my listeners to be taken on a musical journey with different textures, rhythms, chord progressions, and moods. I want people to know where I've been and where I'm going, and to let them hear that I'm in a really good place in my life.
Yes.
That was just phenomenal to me. And I said, music can do that, can it? I like, you painted a whole picture of what music can do to the psyche.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, that was very honest from me, and it's not only good for the listener, it's good for me. It's therapy for me to be able to write songs, produce songs, perform songs. It makes me feel better as a musician. It's just something about a oneness between you and your instrument that really elevates your soul and your spirit. And it's the equivalent of somebody getting happy in church and running down the church aisle. They just get the spirit and they just got to release it. Well, that's what it is for us musically on stage or in the studio or whatever we're doing.
Yeah. I bet so. Yeah. We've got to come in here. And now, I must say, I'm going to tell you right now, top, this is my mom. This is my mom. She says, "Good evening, Mr. Albright. Enjoying the interview with none other than Miss Tina Tilton. Love hearing your music. Keep up the good work."
Oh,
I told you. I knew she was coming. I was like, our mom is a fan. So
that's awesome. Well, mom, I am enjoying the interview very much, and you have quite a daughter.
I think she knows.
I think she knows that.
Yeah. But so my other question to you then, because like you said in the quote, we like to hear, or we hear that you're in a really good place. But what happens when you're in a dark place? How does that affect your music?
Well, I try to stay away from dark places, actually. I try to keep music on the positive because I know that it makes me feel better when I write positive music. It makes my fans feel better when I unleash positive music to them. So I try to finesse my way out of dark places. I mean, I know we all have them.
Yeah.
I just process it better, and I just say to myself, this dark place is less important than the next chapter, and I just try to get to the next chapter to feel better and hopefully enhance the people around me to feel better as well.
Yeah, you guys are some preaching men. I tell you, I can't wait to see this show. It's almost like, do I need to bring my my church fan?
Yeah, bring it on.
bring it on.
Tambourine and everything. Bring the whole kit.
I think y'all will have that covered. I'm just like seriously, almost everyone on the ticket that I have interviewed have had some sort of inspirational, even at some points biblical sayings to the viewers, and it just makes me think like this is going to be an amazing concert. I can't wait. Well, hey, Mr. Albright, I totally thank you for being on The Blend with me today. I know it's like our time, it's gone by so fast. We're 23 minutes into the interview, and we want to play something at the end of the broadcast that has you on it and, doing your thing. I'm so not musically inclined, so just...
That was pretty good form, though.
It was? Okay.
That was good.
I learned a little something from watching you guys. But I do want to thank you, and I want to remind you, the viewers, to make sure that you go to my website, tinatilton.com, to register to win free tickets. I do have those. In the meantime, make plans to attend the River City Jazz and Music Festival Saturday, April 2nd at the Cannon Center, featuring Eric Benet, After 7, Kenny Lattimore, Julian Vaughn, Joe Johnson, and right here, Gerald Albright, my very special guest today. $49 is all you need to get your face in the place. So go to Cannon Center's box office, or you can go to Ticketmaster to purchase your tickets today, right now. Gerald Albright, thank you for being a guest on The Blend, and I hope to see you very soon, sir.
Thank you so much for the invite, Tina. I had a blast, and I hope to see you as well very, very soon.
You gonna sign something for my mama?
You think I won't? I'm obligated to sign something for your mom.
There you go, mama. Thank you so much, Mr. Albright, and thank you so much for watching. And today's show was sponsored by Camouflage Image Consultants with their upcoming event. You guys, Address Me as a Lady. I'm going to get this out in just a second. It's taking place Sunday, March 27th at the Hickory Ridge Mall. Music, food, dresses, and fun for all. 901-288-0845 or visit www.camo, that's CAMO-IC.com. It's only $25. Address Me as a Lady. The Podcast Center is one of the sponsors. We will be giving away tickets very soon to that event as well, so come on out for that. Music, fun, food, dresses, fashion. Oh boy, she's got it hooked up. So, meantime, gotta go. It's time for me to eat. That's probably why I'm stuttering. I'm hungry now. Have a great day, and thanks so much for watching The Blend. Until next time, bye-bye.